Hello and welcome to Raising Those Spirits. I am Steve,
I'm Sam.
and we're back after another break. Happily, though, because I thought our audio software had gone kerplunk, but it lives.
It uncompleted. It lived. The zombie of the audio software.
So, I'm really bummed we had to miss last time because I really wanted to talk about this.
Um, yeah, this is probably the third time I've watched this movie, so I feel like I'm really getting it now.
Oh my goodness. My my wife has had a lifelong crush on Tim Curry. And she thinks this movie might have hurt that.
Had she never seen it before?
Neither of us had ever seen it before.
Oh my goodness. Oh, so
I
this is one that my wife always was like, you need to watch this, you need to watch this, you need to watch this. Then I finally
it's
did. I'm like, okay, I get it.
it's so bad, Sam.
It is it's one of the most perplexing things I've ever seen. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
No. Okay, yeah, we'll jump into cryptids, I guess.
Yeah, let's do. We have two opening segments, and then we'll talk about the worst witch.
All right. So, this week we have North Carolina,
Ooh, down
and
south.
I am doing a cryptid that has apparently been taken care of.
Okay.
Um, it was originally Cherokee legend, but it I think made it I think it might have been settlers. But anyway, there was once a great yellow jacket that roamed the skies of Nantahala River in what is now Mason County. The creature was called the Ulagu, and it was as large as a house, and it could snatch children up and carry them away.
Not good.
So a
Bad situation all around.
yellow jacket the size of a house. Now, again, I'm thinking probably like a colonial house, but still, that's a giant yellow jacket. Um, in order to trap it, they tried to lure it with food. First with a squirrel, then a turkey, then a deer ham, but it carried it all the way before they could do anything, and so they used a yearling deer, which was heavy enough to slow it down, and they tracked it to a cave filled with thousands of normal yellow jackets, and they set fires and engulfed the Ulagu in smoke and killed it.
My God.
Yeah, but that's supposed to be where Yellow Jackets came from because they all escaped the cave.
Oh. So before then, instead of having all the yellow jackets, there was just one really big one.
I guess. Well, there was
I don't
tens
know
of
what's
thousands in
worse.
its cave. So like maybe they were all just living in this one mountain and now they're everywhere.
I don't know. I don't know what's worse. One house-sized yellow jacket, or all of the yellow jackets that there are.
All of the Yellow Jackets that there are.
You'd
We
prefer
could
the one giant one?
we could track and monitor the one giant one.
Well,
Like
look how well
bears.
that went. What is the size of a house? I mean, we're talking like a small kaiju at this point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like we can track that. There'll be like the weather will just give you an update. Like the Ulagus moved into lower Maryland.
Okay. All right. I'm willing to go with you on that one. And I mean, like a yellow jacket the size of a house. Again, even a colonial house. I'm assuming that's like still a one-story house, maybe a two-story house. That's that's so big. I hate the thought of it.
Yeah,
I'm glad it's dead. I'm glad it's dead.
taken care of. Cross this one off the list.
Cross out. We don't have to worry about Alago. He is dead. But his children roam the earth, which is also
Angrily.
bad.
That could be why they're so
Angrily.
mad.
I don't know that I mean, I don't know that I could tell the difference between a wasp and a yellow jacket. I've never seen the show Yellow Jackets.
I've wanted to see the show Yellow Jackets.
I keep hearing it's really, really good.
Yeah. Same, and it's got a great
And
cast, like A-list, A-talent actresses.
yeah, really good. I started watching The Boys. That's my current show.
I just couldn't get into it.
I like it, but it is a stressful watch.
We aren't doing any stressful watches these days. We're watching a lot of
The def
soft anime.
do not watch The Boys. Yeah, I was like, oh wow, this is all my anxiety triggers.
Well, I think it came out like either during or right after Trump's first term, and I sat down to watch it, and I was like, I can't deal with this stress right now, and I've just never been able had a moment where that wasn't true since.
Yeah. Anyway, Ulagu is dead.
And for my drink, I'm doing another take on the old fashioned because I found
Ooh.
this one in one of our favorite local restaurants. It's called a winter old fashioned. You take maple bourbon. Sons of Liberty makes a very good one. They're a New England brand. Uh, Fresh lemon juice, orange juice, bitters, maple cardamom syrup, and ginger beer. It's real good.
Oh, I had a drink that had a couple of at least one of those same elements in it. One with a Smallman Street snail cocktail that I found on the internet, but I didn't save what webpage I found it on. So someone on the internet made this drink, which is a shot of rye whiskey, juice of an orange, juice of half a lemon, 3 ounces of ginger beer, so that's 2 shots, uh, and 4 ice cubes in a double glass. And it was nice. It was a nice little tasty drink. Still feeling
Awesome.
it. Yeah, it was pretty good. A little sweet, but the ginger gives it a good little spiciness. It was a very nice one.
Ginger's so nice this time of year. Ginger's so nice most times a year, but I don't know. It like
Yeah,
cleans out your sinuses nice.
yeah. Coming out of the winter, going into early spring, it's a nice. It's definitely a good little spicy flavor to a drink. So we watched The Worst Witch. You hated this movie. It sounds like.
Yeah, we're talking the 1986 BBC Faruja Balak and Tim Curry one.
And then this has been remade a bunch of times now. It was based on a series of novels that ran for like, an incredibly long time. I looked this up closer to when we were initially going to record this episode. And now I forget. But I didn't realize that that series of novels ran for like 20 years, but they put out like 8 books.
Yeah, she started the first one when she was in boarding school at the age of 15.
Pretty impressive. That's an impressive legacy, especially when you consider that it's at least in the UK is still part of the pop culture.
Yeah. I you can definitely see the roots of Harry Potter all over this thing.
Oh, like, almost to the point where I feel like the author of The Worst Witch could have pressed some legal action against J.K.
Yeah.
It's too similar. Um, it's just too sim. It's Harry Potter is just too similar to this. Um,
They they barely changed anything. Like they didn't even change the wording of the answer.
yeah, you definitely know that J.K. Rowling must have. She probably would have known this from when she was younger. Well, this would have come out like what 10 years before the first Harry Potter novel. This movie,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, this movie would have been out 10 years before she even wrote Harry Potter.
So it's definitely something that could have been in her purview when J.K. Rowling was writing Harry Potter.
I'd be
Um,
shocked if it wasn't, because, like, we're talking back when BBC had, like, 10 channels. Like, there wasn't a lot to watch in the 80s.
yeah,
So if the BBC was
I don't.
putting it
Yeah,
on,
I don't think we're the first people to make this connection.
no,
And I think
no.
it's one of the. I think it's another one of those things where there was a time when J.K. Rowling got a little bit more slack, or maybe more benefit of the doubt. Whereas now, I don't trust anything that woman does.
Yeah, same.
She was born in 65, And I'm gonna hold on. I'm Wikipediaing as we talk
So she would have
about
been
this.
21 when The Worst Witch came out.
When the movie came out, she would have been a little younger when the first book came out.
Well, the first book came out
'Cause-
in 74.
So if the first book came out in 74, J.K. Rowling was born in 65. It would have come out when she was 9. So it really would have come out right when she would have been the age group that it was appealing to.
Fully targeted at, and it exploded. So I do not believe she did not read that as a little girl.
Okay. So, whoa, you get all my Harry Potter anger. So if you're gonna watch, if you want to have some Harry Potter time, try The Worst Witch, or don't.
It's
As
so
Steve
bad.
pointed out, this movie it's a hard watch. Um,
Thank God it's only like an hour and 5 minutes long.
it is short, but it's one I enjoy I enjoy the shittiness of this movie. I think it has a lot of heart. I think it really tries, but it is a BBC like made for TV movie from the 1980s, and it is of that level of quality.
I take offense in you saying it really tries.
I think
I
it
think the
did.
actors did. But
This movie has Diana Rigg in it, and Diana Rigg is incredible. I'll go to bat for Diana Rigg all day. I think she puts 100%
the
in this movie.
acting wasn't the problem.
Special effects were the problem, or
Everything
a
else, the
problem.
pacing, like, we kept jumping to the bad guys. Literally 20 minutes before the end of the movie, they still hadn't done anything. They were just dancing around a fire in the woods. Like,
Yeah, they kind of kept to themselves most of the movie. The villains.
I was like, how are you supposed to be the. You don't have time to hatch a plot, execute the plot, get foiled, and have a heroic, send off. There's just not enough time for that.
Fruzabel kind of just accidentally stumbles upon the villains and then takes care of it very quickly. They say that she's the worst witch, but she really, I mean, like, they point this out by the end of the movie. She's actually very, very good at being a witch. She has a lot of power. She turns all these other evil witches, seemingly with very little effort, into a bunch of snails, which is why I picked the cocktail that I did. Um, so they really got to keep an eye on her because she's a prodigy witch. And I mean, again, they make mention of this by the end of the movie.
Yeah,
You
it's.
mentioned you mentioned this movie hurt your wife's crush on Tim Curry, and I
There
think that's fair.
is for all who have not seen this, 3/4 of the way through the film, Tim Curry shows up. By the way, he is the only man in this entire film.
But what a man!
And everyone is in love with him, which makes sense because apparently there's only one man in this whole world. Um, and Tim Curry shows up. He's the Minister of Magic, to put it in Harry Potter references, and does an entire song and dance shot like an 80s music video,
It's incredible. This is
but
my
with a
favorite part of the
BBC
movie.
budget.
You'll
It's
see that. I mean, this yeah, it gets a lot of play around Halloween every year. I feel like I was culturally aware of that music number before I was really aware of the Worst Witch.
it was I kept waiting for the plot to start because, like, at least in Harry Potter, like, you follow them around classes and stuff, and they're talking about the plot, or you're learning things with them that's going to be relevant to the later plot. And in this one, it was just her going to class and being bad at it. Like, there was almost no plot for the first 40 minutes of this movie.
No, it was a lot of vignettes.
Yeah,
You're seeing her not be good at being.
I was like, we get it. I mean, it's the title is The Worst Witch. You could have just had, like, the one cauldron explode at the beginning and then have them be like, again? And you're like, okay, yeah, she's pretty bad. Like, but no, they had to spend 40 minutes showing us she's bad at every individual subject.
Well, how? I mean, you need to know that she's legitimately the worst.
They're not being hyperbolic. She is the worst witch in the academy.
Uh, yeah, this movie makes, or like the movie makes a lot of choices, which I find confusing. And I'll go back to, I want to go back to Tim Curry for a moment because all throughout this movie, like you're saying, all the women are like obsessed with him. They're like really truly obsessed with Tim Curry's character
That's why I said, I
and
was
how
like, is
beautiful.
he the only man? Because it's the only thing that explains it.
And it's one of Tim Curry was never really known as being like a sex symbol or like he was never really that kind of actor. Maybe in the like the gay community,
And to
he
my
might have
wife.
been into your wife. But really at that time, I his most iconic like sexual role up to that point would have been in Rocky Horror, which was really playing to a very specific community that this movie was not. And so I was really perplexed by it. I was just like, wow, these people are all really, really hot for Tim Curry in a way that doesn't really match who Tim Curry is. Like, sure, I'd get being into Tim Curry at this particular time, but not for teen girls. That was more of a thing for like 20 something year old gay men. And it was really like, it kept taking me out of the movie. I'm like, you're not the people, you are not his vibe, guys.
I mean, Tim Curry's weird because, like, Legend, his character and everything were, like, weirdly sexual. Um, so I don't know. I mean, I'd have to, like, go through his IMDb, but during that period, he was doing a lot of weirdly sexual stuff. Like, not, like, sexual, but, like, he was
Yeah, but not,
hot.
yeah, not in the like classic sense. Or not. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I'd have to go back and yeah, I agree. I have to see what else he was doing at the time. But I really don't think that that was his vibe in 1986.
I mean, fair. It had been 11 years since Rocky Horror at that point.
Yeah, but still, I mean, like that scene. As far as I'm concerned, that scene is the whole movie. There's that 3 minutes where he's singing. He's wearing a bat instead of a bow tie, like a rubber bat, and it is the straight up cheesiest thing you've ever seen.
You can just YouTube the music video part. It's just on YouTube.
Yeah, that's I mean that's the best part of the movie, bar none, easily. And it's just strange. It's strange. I mean, like, it overtakes Fairuza Balk here playing her second most iconic witch role. Um, she doesn't even like yeah, yeah she doesn't do a ton. She doesn't do a ton in this movie. The movie happens around her.
Kinda, yeah. I
She's
would
the worst
not be
witch.
shocked.
What's another interesting thing about Tim Curry in this movie is I don't know how much he was really on set with anybody. If you pay attention to like the angles of his scene, it really seems like anytime they're showing him, he's in a space by himself, responding to somebody talking. And there's one scene at the end where he's in a room with a whole bunch of people. But I feel like they had him for like a day.
Yeah, I was about to say it sounds like they
Uh,
just had to work with him around his schedule. I mean, I think he was filming Clue at that time. So they literally might have filmed it around his schedule.
which is fair. I mean, he's a big get. He's as perplexing as I find his presence in this movie to be. Like he was the get. Um, maybe no, maybe Diana Rigg. I don't know what Diana Rigg was up to post Avengers in the
Oh,
mid
yeah.
1980s.
Yeah, he did Legend and Clue right at the same time. So I
At the
feel
same
like,
time.
yeah, he was there for a day. You're right.
Yeah, they. I can't imagine this took a very long time to shoot either, because this is a TV budget, and it feels it.
And he
Uh,
knows theater. Like, he knows how to sing and dance. So just doing one musical number isn't going to take all day for him.
No, this was a breakfast. Yeah, this is you could do this over breakfast. This was not a big lifter type curry.
Oh man. Yeah, so it's hard to even talk about it because you're right, it's just a bunch of vignettes for the most part, and occasionally you jump to the air quotes bad witches who for the most part are just sitting around drinking around a fire while some awkwardly dance in some of the worst outfits. Again, going to Harry Potter, the whole thing where the wizards and witches don't know how to dress normal, like feels like it was stolen. I was like, you just took every single outfit from the prop department and threw them on all these people.
Yeah, I mean, they're quintessential, pop culture witches. They look very silly. But they're doing what's their plan? They're going to try and take over the school somehow from the twin sister. It's the twin sister of our headmistress witch,
They're
and
going
she's
to
good.
turn all the kids into frogs?
Sure, that's pretty witchy.
Something like that? Because at the end, she turns them into snails, and I'm like, it's not even poetic. It's not even like she did the spell onto them.
They probably couldn't get a hold of any frogs. They're like, oh, it's way easier to catch snails.
In England, yeah, you can probably walk around that garden that they filmed at and just pick up that many snails.
Yeah, whereas a frog's gonna get away from you. Snails, they were like, yeah, no, we couldn't get any frogs. We're gonna do snails. They're pretty big snails. Forget how big snails can get.
My house is
But yeah,
covered with
no,
snails.
there. My daughter flipped over a log and saw a slug, and she freaked out about it. But I told her, I was like, kid, you were flipping over logs looking for bugs. What'd you think was gonna happen? Kids are dumb.
Yeah. I've been trying to explain that to my son recently. He'll be like, well, but why? And I, because at the end of the day, kids are dumb, buddy, and you can't be trusted. I love
It's like,
you, but
why do I need to stop doing this thing? It's like, because you injured yourself the last time you did it. You injured yourself the time before that you did this. Stop doing it. Why do I have to keep telling you to stop? Don't you want to not hurt your face?
yeah.
There was a movie I watched a few months back. It's called The Girl on the Broomstick. It came out in 1972. So this is a couple of years before the first Worst Witch book came out. And it is from somewhere deep into Eastern Europe. I forget where it originates from. And I feel like there could be a possibility that the writer of The Worst Witch saw the girl on the broomstick. And it is a teenage witch escapes her witch world to enter our world. And it's like a light sex romp. It's very silly, but very enjoyable. So
It's
if you
not
want a
even on
more
IMDb.
I definitely hold on. I'll send you the I'm gonna send
Oh,
you
the girl on a
the
broomstick?
girl on a broomstick, yeah.
There we go. It was, despite typing that in at IMDb, it was like 20th down.
Oh yeah, I mean it is not well known in the United States. I think it only has recently been available readily in the US. But there's definitely some parallels between this, especially with like, getting spells wrong and turning people into animals. But then again, also very a little bit more adult and aimed at an older audience. This is
Worst
not so
Witch
it's
had already been
not something
purchased at this time.
had already been purchased.
Yeah,
You mean the
so,
rights to the book?
yeah, she wrote it in 65 or 66 or something like that, and then it got picked up in 70, like they bought it, and then it actually got released in 74, but they had already bought the script.
Oh, okay. So the worst witch is definitely the older. We're getting further and further back. We're finding the DNA of the worst witch. Okay, so the worst witch originated earlier than the girl on a broomstick.
But Girl on a Broomstick could have easily been used as reference for the Worst Witches movie.
Possibly, because I feel like there's a lot of visual similarity. If it's possible that this Eastern European movie would have been available in London, um, maybe about 12 years later, which is possible. I don't know what Eastern European film distribution looked like in the UK in the 1980s, but I would write a book on the subject. No. Uh, yeah, if you don't mind movies with subtitles, I definitely would recommend The Girl on a Broomstick for just a very strange little piece of cinema that I really enjoyed it.
Blackface warning.
Where does it say that on IMDb? I do not remember
One
blackface in
of
it.
the top pictures on IMDb, someone's just in blackface.
Ooh, that's awkward. Maybe that was cut out of the version I watched.
Ah,
Oh yeah, now I see it. Okay, we have one of the witches in the witch school in that movie.
yep.
I have a soft spot for the worst witch.
It's
I do.
just like my love for nothing could keep me happy. Like normally I can be like I'm just going to really enjoy this person's performance or whatever. There weren't even like fun facts to look up for this movie.
No, I find it so I find its bizarreness delightful.
I
I think it's inoffensive. Um, I think it's a weird watch. Yeah, but and this is the third time I've watched it. I think it's got something. I don't know what, but I think it's got something.
Yeah, I mean, I might check out the one with the girl from Hilda and Game of Thrones and The Last of Us.
When did that version come out?
That came out a few years ago on Netflix. She was already Hilda, but I don't know if she had done Game of Thrones yet.
Oh, that's
2017. So
oh,
there's
so
three seasons of it, I think. And no, they did.
2017 is when I hear that I think, oh, recently, and then realize, oh no, it isn't.
That was 8 years ago.
Oh, that sucks. I hate that.
Yeah, so there's four seasons of that with the girl from all those other things. Um,
And that's like the third, maybe I think it's like the third or fourth adaptation of the Worst Witch. There's been a lot because
there has been a lot.
there was a TV series in the 90s, the late 90s. There was a spin-off of that in 2005.
It left an
Oh, there's
impact.
yeah, it left it and people really people really read them. My daughter I came across the first book. Somebody was just like there was a box of books somebody was giving away on the street. I grabbed it for my daughter and she enjoyed the book. I don't know if she finished it. But she started reading it and she liked it when she was reading it. So I think it still has its place, which is kind of shocking for it's almost obscure. Like, is it obscure? Maybe it's obscure in the States and it's not overseas.
Well, it's definitely. I think it's gone down in popularity, but I think it's still not. I think it's like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, it's not nearly as popular as it was, but it's still a known entity. It's still influential.
Wonder if it's something that as people back away from Harry Potter, it'll start picking up some of that.
I honestly, that might be why The Worst Witch got made. That might be around when J.K. Rowling got awful.
Was that 2017?
I mean, that's a weird Google, but I'll try it. When did J.K. Rowling get awful? 2020, it looks like. So she's only been awful for 5 years publicly.
I'll tell you, when Harry Potter was first getting popular, there was like one of the reasons I didn't read it initially. My reason for not reading Harry Potter at the very beginning was that I had a chip on my shoulder about what counted as being nerdy and what didn't. I was like, oh, that's fake nerd stuff. Which is a terrible attitude, and I rescinded that opinion eventually. Um, But then when I got to a point where it was like, oh, I will read these books, but I don't really have the time because this is when I was in college. I remember just seeing some of the footage from the movies and thinking like, "Ah, this is kind of racist. Like some of the goblins were really very clearly Jewish caricatures, like what you would have seen from World War II. I was like, is nobody else seeing this?
Yeah,
Like this. I was like, this is making me uncomfortable.
part of me is like the movies portrayed them that way. In the books, there's no photos or pictures of them. You know what I mean? So I'm like, it's almost
Yeah.
like the movies are the ones that made them racist. So that is one of the few things that I don't go hard against her on. I haven't reread it and read her physical description of them, but
Mhm.
yeah, the movies with like the Chris Columbus movies were really poorly done. I mean, maybe the HBO one that's coming out will do better by them.
There's a lot of people in that who are people that I like, and I'm going, why should you should you be doing this? Could you maybe not?
Yeah, and
John Lithgow and I think Nick Frost is going to be in it. I'm like, Nick Frost, don't do that though. You can
yeah,
do other things.
I just yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Also, God, there better be a bunch of black people in it because they cast Snape as a black man.
He's like a beautiful, beautiful person.
Yes,
I saw
but
a
like
picture of him.
if the only black guy you hired was to be the villain,
Oh yeah, that's not good.
it doesn't help with your um this isn't a racist series rebuttal.
It does. No, it does not. No, I saw the picture of the guy. I don't know the actor's name, but he's so handsome. And I was like, this is the person you have taken over for Hans Gruber? Like, I'm not gonna say that Alan Rickman wasn't, good looking in a way. It's like I thought part of the point of that character was he was supposed to be a little bit kind of weaselly looking. I was like, sure, if I'm like a teenager in this school and this is the bad guy, I'll follow that bad guy. It's like, yeah, he looks like he's going places.
Yeah, no, I looked him up and you're right. He is charismatic as hell.
Yeah, he's very, a very good looking person.
It's just going to
It's
be a
not
problem if he's the only black dude.
that will be a problem.
I mean, that's
But the
always a
worst witch
problem,
doesn't
but
have these.
you know.
Yeah. But the worst witch doesn't have these problems.
I mean, they don't have. Did they have any minorities in the 1986 Worst Witch?
Oh, you know what? Now that you say that, I feel like no.
There might have been one token black witch, but I might be being generous.
No, but that is a problem. Well, it's UK in the 80s. Pretty. No, that's not true. That's not very white. I mean, you go
I
to
mean, it's a
London,
high
this is
end
not.
school, it's a private boarding school, so
That's true.
there's a
I
barrier
mean,
to
that's
entry.
that's problematic. Yeah, I lived in London for a little while, and I'll tell you, it's an incredibly diverse city. But this is, the English countryside, which less so, pretty white. So I'm going through all the pictures of Tim Curry in his music video. Wait, it's so ridiculous. This
It
movie is
is,
ridiculous from beginning to end. But I think it's worth watching just so you can say, like, wow, this movie is absolutely batshit crazy.
for real. It's only an hour of your time. I just was like, what did you make me watch? I went in completely blind. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it's kind of a short episode, but that's about what I have to say about The Worst Witch.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say I think it's worth watching. I think it's a weird little relic of 1986 British spooky children's media. I
Your
think it's
ki-
worth your time.
your kids might like it. I did not watch it with mine, but yeah, I mean, it's innocuous, but yeah,
Yeah, if nothing else, if you're not going to sit down and watch this movie, go on YouTube. find Tim Curry's music video and watch that because that's only 3 minutes of your time.
He's right.
It is worth it. It's worth it. That's the whole movie. Like, don't worry about anything else in this movie. Just watch Tim Curry's music video to understand what we are talking
All right, Sam, where can they find us?
about. Oh, we are kind of on Facebook and Instagram at RT Spirits Pod. I'm not super on the social medias a lot anymore. So, but interact with us there. I'll get a notification if you send us a message. Um, and while you're there, let us know other things you think we should check out. We want to hear from you.
Thanks for joining us. As always, I am Steve.
I'm Sam.
Good night.
Good night.